Good morning, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Parity on Whisper by Wu-chian Lin. Wu-chian Lin was one of the people who submitted a lot of the Sudoku problem series and has continued to submit puzzles to me. The Sudoku problem series is something that's a little bit dead at the moment because there was a lack of momentum when I stopped having the time to be able to do all of that. Whether this gets picked up again is going to be dependent on a few different things, but it is something that is not completely off the cards, but it's not going to happen in the next month or so for sure. But don't give up hope for those of you who like it. And if you've never seen it before, check out the playlist. It is 120, I think, maybe a little more, really interesting Sudoku problems, a bit like chess problems. You're not solving the whole grid, but you are solving just a part of the grid to understand a key bit of Sudoku logic. Some of them are quite easy that you can do in a few seconds. Some of them are not. So yeah, various difficulties of problem. The other thing I want to call out is I wanted to thank Sven for implementing the solution counter part of the Sudoku Pad web app, where when a puzzle is solved, or when a puzzle is opened, it shows how many times a puzzle has been solved, because that has started to give some amazing feedback to setters about how many times their puzzles get solved when they are distributed via various means. And I've started to get a lot of thanks from setters for me putting their puzzles onto my channel, because apparently a feature on my channel is worth something like 1,000 to 1,500 solves, and that just blew my mind. I had no way of knowing that before. I would not have expected it to be that high. Pardon me. So it is just absolutely mind-blowing to me that, that many people are engaging with the puzzles and actually solving the puzzles through when they get a feature on my channel. So thank you, Sven, for that, because it really shows me the value of being able to do what I do and putting the time in. And it has motivated me to try and sort of improve and step up my game, because what I'm doing is so valuable to the people who create these puzzles. Yeah, the other thing I do actually want to quickly mention, sorry about the long intro, is I've recently been doing a few more puzzle games on the channel. I completed the Room series of games. I did an amazing game called Gorogoa, which was, I don't want to say anything about it, but possibly one of the most beautiful puzzle games I've ever seen. And I started one called the Telos Principle, I think it's called, which I was really enjoying. I got to one puzzle which really frustrated me, and then I ended the stream after finishing it with some help. But I'm definitely looking forward to returning to that one. It's a bit Portal-ish in its concepts, but different enough that it's a very fascinating game. It's very pretty. And I was really enjoying that one, and I will be returning to that one as well. I've had a few days off, so I did a few puzzle games in a row. Gorogoa was so beautiful. I also, and you can find this on the community section of my page. There's a link to where my wife, Felene, spends some time solving Gorogoa as well. She went in completely blind, and I didn't tell her anything about it. I just bought her a copy on Steam. I mention this now because hopefully by the time this video comes out, the Steam sale is on, and all of these games are on massive discount. Like, I think some of the Gorogoa is 70% off. The Room games are like 90% off. So if this comes out in time, then you might want to check the Steam sales if you're interested in the games, because yeah, massive sales. Enough of a rant. Let's have a look at Parity on Whisper by Wu-chian Lin. So, how does this puzzle work? Normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. So these two digits will sum to 11, these two digits will sum to 11. And then on green German whisper lines, adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 5. So if we pick any two digits that are separated by a green line, the difference between those must be at least 5. They're all the rules we've got for this puzzle. I am going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So I get the feeling this is going to be, while it says Parity on Whisper, I get the feeling this is going to be a Polarity puzzle, because I can look at this 15 cage and there's only two ways of making a 15. I can use 7, 8, to 15, or if I start at the top, the way I often think about these small cages, or when I'm making digits with 2, is if I start with 9, the highest digit, because I need a high digit in a 15 cage, 9 would go with 6. And then I would say, okay, what would 8 go with? 8 would go with 7. And then what would 7 go with? Well, 7 goes with 8, and I'm starting to repeat myself. So they're the only two options, 9, 6, and 8, 7. So 9, 6, 8, 7, but that means this is a high digit. And if this is a high digit, I can start using the important trick about a whisper line. Now, on a whisper line, because of the 5 difference, you can never put a 5. If I put a 5 on a whisper line, what would go next to it? And the answer is nothing, because 5 lower than 5 would be 0 or less, not valid. 5 higher would be 10 or higher, not valid. So that doesn't work. Now, with any high digit on a whisper line, I can't go up. Again, 6 plus 5 is 11 or higher. Doesn't work. 7 gets worse. You just cannot go up from a high digit and stay within the range of Sudoku digits. So I would have to go down. But if I go down, because of the 5 difference, I have to leapfrog the 5 and I would end up in a low digit. So anything next to a high digit is going to be low, and I use blue to mark low. But if I'm in a low digit, I can't go down, I have to go up. And again, because of the 5 difference, I have to leapfrog the 5 and I end up back in the range of high digits. So this would be a high digit, this would be a low digit, and I will always alternate high, low, high, low, high, low. This is a high digit. So I've got 3 high digits, 3 low digits. Now a 14 cage potentially can have a 5 in it, but I do know this is 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I know this can't be a 6. Now this is another whisper trick. 5 different from 6, there's only one Sudoku digit that can be 5 different from 6, which is 1. If this is a 6, both of those would be 1, so this is not a 6. This is a 7, 8, 9 for the same reason. Now, if this was a 7, this would be a math. I got a math. Let's do it the other way. 9 would go with 5, 8 would go with 6, and 7 would go with 7. Hang on, I can't put a 7 here. 7 would go with 7. 14 divided by 2 is 7, which means I cannot put 2 7s in the cage. So these are the only possibilities for this cage. So this cannot be a 7, but that could be with those being 1, 2. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4. And it could be any of them, but it means that this is 8, 7, 6, 5. So those are 5 digits that have to be from 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this digit here is also low, because these are the only places I can put 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot put 4 there, because the only digit that is 5 away from 4 is 9, and those would both have to be... those would both have to be 9s. There's possibly something else I can determine from this, but I'm not sure what it is. I feel I should be able to do more in that box. Now this isn't quite forced to be low, I don't think. Because if this is a 6, this is a 1, 2. But if this is a 6, this is a 1. So it'd be 6, 1, 2, and this would be 6 and 1. But that still leaves a bit of freedom. Actually, I can determine the sum of those digits. 15 and 14 is 29, plus 9 is 38. So these digits have to sum to 7. Okay. An important bit about Sudoku, which apparently I am not supposed to tell anyone, and I've actually been told off in comments and emails and on Discord for telling people this, but I kind of have to here. If you grab any box, row, or column of a Sudoku is going to contain the digits 1 to 9. If you add those digits together, and there's some easy ways of doing that, but if you add those together, all you need to know is they add to 45. Try it for yourself. And at some point, I'm going to do it now. There is an interesting way of understanding how that happens. If you put in, so let's do this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a couple of different ways of doing this. My way of knowing this is those two digits sum to 10. Those two digits sum to 10, those two digits sum to 10, those two digits sum to 10. There's 40 and there's a 5 left over. There's my 45. So you can quickly add 1 to 9 in your head by understanding that the low and the high digits each will pair off to tens. There are 4 digits below 5, 4 digits above 5, 40, and then the 5 adds the 5, 45. Anyway, an entire row, column, or box will sum to 45. If I subtract the 38 from 45, these digits have to sum to 7. So if these digits have to sum to 7, there's only one way of doing that. The minimum Sudoku digits are 1, 2, 3. That's 6. I have to increase one of them by 1. The only way I can increase a digit without forcing a repeat is to make it 1, 2, 4. If I was to increase the 1 to a 2, I'd end up with 2, 2, 3. I can't do that in a box without repeating a digit. It has to be 1, 2, 4. This becomes a 3. If this is a 3, then this is a 6. That means this is a 5. The 5 there means this is a 9. That means there's no 6 or 9 there. So this is a 7, 8 pair. So that is now a 7, 8 pair. And I get to this. Now this 9 could go next to anything. If this is a 7, this is a 1, 2, 4. If this is an 8, well, I can't put a 4 there because a 4 needs to be next to a 9. So this is a 4. And that might be as far as I can take this. But this is now the high digit. Now, does that change the perspective on this? No, this still could be 6, 1, 2, I think. But these 11 cages might come into play. Because an 11 cage, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4... One of these digits is high, but it could be a 9. I can do this. I can start something down here. So a 5 can only be made with 1, 4, or 2, 3 for the similar reasons that a 15 could only be 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a low digit by alternating polarity. Those are all low and these are both high. Okay, this is also a low digit. So these are the opposite. These sum to 5 and are the opposite of these. If this is 1, 4, these are 2, 3. Now, a 20 cage with a low digit in it means that those both have to be high because the maximum this could be, hang on, the maximum these could be is 8, 9, which is 17. So this is 3 or 4 in order to get, so this is 16 or 17. And if it's 16, it's 7, 9. And if it's 17, it's 8, 9. Because I can't put a 5 in here because it's on a whisper line. And I can't put a high digit there because of the alternating polarity. So this has got a 9 in it. And those are both high. Now, 3, 4 means this is a 1, 2 because these have to sum to 5 because they're the other two low digits. All the low digits sum to 10. This is 5. These will be 5. That's got to be doing something for me, right? These are high digits, by the way. There's 2 low digits in here, but this still could be high. 14 cage can't have a low digit in it. So that is a high digit. And the reason for this is, again, similar to the 14 cage up here. If I put a low digit, a 4 in here, what's that going to be? It's going to have to be a 10. So these are all high digits, and I've got that being now a 6, which means these are 1 and 2. That 14 cage was the trick that forced this. I was looking at this line the wrong way. These, wow, my mouse is responding slowly. These are both low digits. Now, this is 7, 8, or 9, but it's not 7 for the same reason. If this was 7, this would be 7, and I've repeated the digit in the box, the row, and the cage. I am triple broken. So if this is an 8, this is a 6. If it's a 9, it's a 5. It's not a 6, that's a 5, and that's a 9. So this is now 7 or 8. The 9 here means that's not the 9, and this is the 9. Now, that is 1, 2, or 3, and this is 1, 2, or 3. because I can't put 4 in either of those without having to put 9 on both sides. 6 can only go next to 1 on the line, so this is the 2. I've already figured out that this had to be 6, 1, 2 in that order because the 6 would have to go next to the 1. I typed the wrong digit. That would put the 2 there and the 1 there. I'd already figured that out. I just didn't continue the logic. This is now a 3. Now, the question is, where does 4 go in this box? Because if I was to put 4 there, and my music has gotten very loud. If I was to put 4 there, what would that be? That would have to be another 4, and I'm repeating 4s in both the column and the cage, and I'm double broken. So that is the 4, which is a low digit, and this is a 7-8 pair, making it a high digit and giving me a 7-8 pair in the box. But if I was to make this an 8, that would have to be a 0. And while I can put it into the grid, I can't put it into the puzzle. So that is 7 and 1, making this the 8, which it had to be anyway, because if that was a 7 next to a 3, I would have broken the whisper line. The 7 looks down, making that 8. 9 and 8 is 17, so this becomes the 3. There's no 3 in here, so there's no 2 in here. This is the 1, 4. This is the 2. This is cool. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Last time I checked, 1 was 0. I'll recheck that at some point, but I'm not going to bother today. Now, this 11 cage can't have a 9 or an 8 in it. So it's not 9, 8. It's not 9, 2. It's not 8, 3. It could be 7, 4, but it can't be 6, 5. So this is 4, 7. So the question I now ask myself is, where does 7 go in row 1? Because I can't put 7 in those, and I can't put 7 in those. So 7 has to go in one of those 3 cells, which all of a sudden means 7 is not available for the 15 cage, which is now 6, 9 for the reason I mentioned before. It has to be either 9, 6 or 7, 8. This is 6, 9. 7 is up here somewhere. This 11 cage. So it can't be... If it's 9, 2, it's in that order. If it's 8, 3, it's in either order, I think. It can't be 7, 4, and it can't be 5, 6. So 5 is in one of those 2 cells. Oh, hang on. This 6 has made that 9 and that 6. This is a triple. I'm curious about that triple. And the reason is all the other digits are given. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 3, and 6. Well, that's not a 1 because of the 1, 4 pair. Now, those 2 are the same polarity, and they are either 3, 4... and they can't be 3, 4. Those digits are high. Those are 8 and 9. And how do I know that? These digits, because of the alternating polarity, must be the same. So I can color these. I'm going to use green and purple. This is just me demonstrating what I've already seen. So these, because of the alternating polarity, must be the same. If these were low digits, one of them would have to be 4. If that was a 4, I'd have to put 9 in both of those, which would break that. And if that was a 4, I'd have to put 9 in both of those, and there'd be 2 9s in the column. These cannot be low. Those must be high. These must be low. And I will turn off those colors. So these are 8 and 9. These, or this is 2 or 4. This is 3 or 4, and it can't be 4 because both of those would have to be 9. That's 3, which puts 3 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. And this is 2 or 4, and I think it could be either. Four is in one of those. So the question is, can those be 2, 3? That would be 3. That would be 2. That can't be 3. So again, those are high digits. So 4 can't go in any of those cells. No, I've got that wrong. I've got that completely wrong. 4 is in those cells, and that does give me the freedom I need. Ignore everything I just said. However, 3 is in one of those two cells. But 3 can't be there. Because if that's a 3, what is that? That would have to be an 8 or a 9, and it can't be. So that's not the 3, this is the 3. And the reason 3 was restricted to these two cells is because of the 3's looking into the box. 3 couldn't be in any of those. So that's the 3, which makes that low, which means that's low by the alternating polarity. This is high, which means that's not 4. Now, this is 1 or 2 only because it sees 3 and 4, giving me a 1-2 pair in the box. Where is 3 in this column? It's down here somewhere. This is not 7 or 8, it's 6 or 9, and it can't be 6 because 6 can only be next to 1, so that's a 9. And that's not 6 or 9, it's 7 or 8, and it can't be 7. 7 is too close to 3. That's 8. I'm missing something fundamentally important about this puzzle. Which, as I've said many times, could be the alternate name for my channel. Missing something fundamentally important. That 1 takes 1 out of there, which gives me a 3-6 pair. That's a 1. I'll make 1 low. I'm still fairly convinced that 1 is low. 1 is now not in any... So 1 is in one of those two cells. I feel like I should be chasing 5s, but I'm not seeing much with 5s. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. 5 is not in any of those, so 5 is in one of those two, which means 5 is in one of those two. So what's that cell? It sees a 1-2 pair. It sees 3. It can't be... It sees 4. It sees 5. So this is 6 or 7, and it sees a 6. That is a 7 that was very well hidden, which means these are now a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 5, and 9. Well, there's no 3 there. And there's no 9 there because of the 8-9 pair. That is the 5. Which means this is a 3-9 pair down here. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Well, there's no 4 there. There's no 2 there. This is the 4 because of the 2 and the 6. So that's not the 4. This is a 2-6 pair. So this is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 7, 8. Well, there's no 8 there. There's no 4 there. I still feel like I'm fundamentally missing a trick. This is an 8 or a 9 because this is the only thing that's 5 apart. So I've got an 8-9 pair in the column. Is that doing much for me? I've got quadruples all over the place, but I'm not sure where the value with them is. So these are 2, 4, 5, and 6. This can't be 2 or 6. So this is 2 or... No, this is 4 or 5? The only thing I haven't fully resolved is this cage. And why have I not been able to resolve that cage? These are 1, 2, 5, and 6. So this is a 5 or a 6 because it sees a 1 or a 2. Nine is in one of those three. Nine is in one. 9 is in one of those two. 9 and 9. 9 has to be up here. This can't be a 9 and that can't be a 9. That right there is a 9, which makes that a 2, and that's going to have roll-on effects. That's 1, that's 2. This is low. 2 is still low. It'll get better, I'm sure. The 1 looks down, making that 2, which means this has to be the 1 now by Sudoku. Sudoku, Sudoku, you say Sudoku, I say Sudoku. This is a 5-6 pair. Let's call the whole thing off. Where is 3 in this box now? That 3 knocks out those. That 3 knocks out that one. That's a 4-7 pair. This has to be a 3. Also low. I'm trying to figure... I think I'm getting rid of the high-low colouring at this point. So, goodbye colouring. You served me well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 go into those because 7 and 9 are already allocated. That is not 6. Actually, neither of those are 8. So that is the 5, that is the 6. This is the 8, and that's going to do some damage because this is now a triple. There's no 3 here, so this is the 3. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 1, 7, and 8 go into there. Not seeing much on that one. Is this 4, 7, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yeah, 4, 7, and 8. But there's no a 7 or 8 because of the 1, 7, 8. This is the 4, which means this is the 7, which means this is the 4, which means this is the 8, and this is the 7. The 4 makes this 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the 8, 9 pair looks up, taking 8 out of that one. Huh, cool. Have I broken this open yet? No. Do I know why? Yeah, because it's me. 4 is now in one of those two. But I don't think that's it. For this line to go down here and have any meaning, that's got to be a 4. But that is not a good way to solve the puzzle. So what is this? It's a high digit. It's 7, 8, 9, because it can't be 6 because it's next to a 2. These are from 4, 5, 6, and 7. But can't put 4 in there. Can't put 5 there. Can't put 6 there. That's not 4 or 6, which gives me a 5, 7 pair in the row. So that's a 6. And that's a 4. So there's no 4 there. The 6 does... Put 6 in one of those two. Wow. This triple, actually, let's look at this pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a 2 and a 4, and there's a 2 there. So that's the 4, that's the 2. Oh, that 3 has been looking down there for ages, making this a 6, which makes this 5 and this 6. Now, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 5, and 7. There's no 5 there. But this is a 7, 8, 9 triple, not including the 2. That is a 7, 8, 9 triple. So that's the 3, that's the 5, that's the 7, that's the 3. The 3 makes this 9. That makes this 5. This is also from 7, 8, 9, but there's an 8, 9 pair in the column. So that's the 7. 2 does go next to 8, 9. The 7 looks back, making this 8 and this 7. The 7 looks up, making this the 1, and I can take the 1 out of both of those. This 5 looks up, making that the 4, which means this is now the only place left in the box for a 5, means this is the 2. And this line, it did give me the high-low, which is incredibly important. I have used that extensively. Now, this column is missing only a single digit, which is a 6, so that has to be the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is the 6. So this is the 2 and this is the 6. This box is now missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And see that 4 right there? That's going to be the business, because that'll look down making that 1 and that 4. The 1 looks up making that 7 and that 1. The 7 looks up making that 8 and that 7. And this gets resolved by this 4. 4 cannot be next to 8. It's too close. So this becomes the 9. This becomes the 8. This becomes the 8. This becomes the 9. And that is the correct solution. Now, this has only been solved a couple of times in the last 18 days. And that's probably because Wu-chian Lin tends to submit puzzles to me, and I don't know if he publishes them anywhere else. But so it'll be interesting to see after this video comes live. It'll be about 4 days after I've recorded this, what the solution counter is, because it's really, really nice, I think, for setters to be able to get the feedback of how many people are actually solving their puzzles. The view counts on the videos is okay. That's how many people are sort of engaging with the video. But I think as a setter, I would much prefer someone to solve my puzzle than someone to watch the video. Don't get me wrong, as a YouTuber, please watch the video. That's where everything comes forth from me. Please, even if you just let it run in the background, that's great. But as a setter, and honestly, setters and the puzzles are more important. Absolutely. I think that solve counter is absolutely stunning, and seeing how much that grows, particularly now that Sven has implemented the way of tracking that someone isn't just spoofing. There is some built-in logic behind making sure someone just doesn't submit the solution over and over and over and over again, and the counter will take that into account. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. So getting that feedback, it's interesting to see for some setters. So worth keeping an eye out, sort of what was your solution number. One thing I will point out, there is someone who has been posting comments into my channel where they say the number that they were when they solved it, and they're using the hashtag. Using hashtags in YouTube comments will tend to get your comment caught by the spam filter, and it will immediately be blocked out. So don't use the hashtag in your comments by default. But apart from that, yeah, interesting comments. And I'm much more interested in seeing sort of how big the number is than I am in how long people take. But that's me personally. I know other people are interested in times. Thank you, Wu-chian Lin, for sending this one through. Really enjoyed the puzzle, and hope you did too. We'll find out how many people solve it. Thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, good luck with your solving.